It's preparing.
I think Jim McElroy messed this up.
He pulled it straight from Green.
What was on
And he did it with the nurse to make sure.
Frontier ought to give us free Wi-Fi here.
Yeah, there you go.
For sure, that's good.
Yeah. We love ours. Of course, it's not really Frontier. I think it's CG or
Oh, it's
Frontier. Because they go through some others that we've got. Some
Yes.
AT&T stuff too.
Direct TV.
Direct TV, which is AT&T.
Is that what y'all had? We have Frontier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Shannon out here?
I just texted her and I'm going to work.
Hey, man. What next door early to tell? What are you doing over there?
It's my toe.
I thought you was pulling Chris.
Okay, we ready?
It's fine. Oh. Are we ready?
Are we ready?
Sorry.
Okay, guys, it is September 27th. It is 6 p.m. exactly. We're gonna call this meeting to order. If everyone would stand for the invocation of pledge of allegiance. Deb, can you listen to the invocation?
Dear Heavenly Father, thankful to be here tonight. Please help us that we may look at these rates and be fair to our citizens in examining them, that this may not be hardships to new buildings or anyone who is trying to build things, but yet we get comfortable to the cities around us. Help us that we may have our hearts and minds open to any promptings that must give us. And help us that we may be able to do what's best for the citizens. Father, we are thankful for the beautiful weather we've had. We ask for continuing cooling, that it may be nice to be outside. And that people may enjoy our life. And Father, we're thankful for all the blessings thou gives us. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any citizens input today? You got it, Ms. Miller? No citizens?
Be untimely.
Big part.
It'd be untimely regarding,
Sure, I couldn't hear.
it would be untimely that, my understanding will be discussing fees and permits bill. And I had a question, regarding our street signs. Do permits have to be required? And then are they paid for? And then who monitors where they're placed? For here's an example of my concern. Driving into where I live, to Indian Oaks. There's a large billboard on the left-hand side of the street. The oncoming traffic is distracting. In my humble opinion, it shouldn't be allowed facing on the other side of the street. It should be on this side. If there isn't any permits or fees for such.
Yes, and I think Shannon back behind you, as well as Michael, will be able to answer that and help you out.
Thank you.
Any other citizens input? Moving on to number 6, modifying the schedule. Announcements. Any announcements?
Yeah. The music fest in the park Saturday.
1 to
11 to 9:30.
You've got like 20 bands or
17
17.
bands are set up for them.
Okay, must be going every hour or 30 minutes.
They're off noon, some are 30 minutes, an hour.
Were you setting up a pavilion for the forum?
Setting up a band stage.
Oh, okay. Where's it gonna be? North side? Oh, in the middle, okay. All right. Get something.
October 15th, a political forum from noon to 2. It's at the Chamber Building.
Okay. Anything else? Any other announcements, citizen input? We're gonna move on to modifying schedule of fees and permits. Yeah. This is where you're gonna shine here. What we've had to do, we brought in Bureau Veritas last year to help with our permits. At the time, we had an individual doing all our inspections, and if you read the P&L like I do every month and a lot of times weekly, what I noticed was I'm always looking at the expenditures. Well, this time I thought, let me look at the income. So look at the income, and we were way, way over income on the reinspection fees, which told me that they're doing a lot of re-inspections, because they would go out and inspect a fence or electrical, and they'd red tag it or whatever, make mention that something needed to be done differently, and which would constitute them coming back out for inspections, which I think it's $75 is what it was. So that income on that, we thought it was a little high, and we wanted to go with somebody that really knew what permits and ordinances were. They were experts in the field, Bureau Veritas is. So we switched to Bureau, and we're getting really good service from them. They don't charge for inspections or anything like that, so that's a big help. But what we noticed is that our prices weren't aligned with BV. So what Shannon has done, she's gone through and did a spreadsheet for what the current fees are, what the BV fees are, and what the proposed new fees are. Has anybody had a chance to look over that? Do you have any questions or anything about it?
Pretty self-explanatory. Good layouts.
Very good, Shannon.
Remind us again, the blue, red, and
The blue is stuff that we would be adding that we do not currently have. Red we would be taking out, and the green would not actually go under permits. It would be, it's not a general fund income, it would be water sewer income. So it would fall under them, but it was something that we needed to put in with this right now.
okay, that annual, it's on the last page, the annual, not the last page, next to the last page. Annual liquid waste transporter permit. Is that, Michael, where they come out and fill that sludge tank up? Don't they do that annually?
No, that's where they come and remove it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what this is, right?
The sludge removal? Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we do that once a year though, right? Or twice a
It
year?
depends. Sometimes we can do it 2, 3, 4 times a year, but normally once a year.
Okay. All right, and are we capturing any of that permit fee for them doing that right now?
Well, that's just that we can't be talking about the same thing, because there's no permit fee for them to come.
Well, it's,
You're talking about it,
No,
someone
he's
comes
talking
in and
about
uses
what
ours,
our
but
bad It's a usage.
Well, no one comes in and uses our sludge machine. Are we talking about the future?
What we budgeted for.
Okay, so we're talking about the future of the trucks coming in.
what we budgeted.
That is what the green is. Here's what we talked about, the budget.
Oh, yeah, no. So we looked at Greenville's, so that's what we compared to. Did everybody get a copy of that? or no?
Oh, no,
Okay,
I
so
just put that on here. I didn't give them any of that.
All right, so
sometimes I've found that if a
The
question
fees
gets
that are
asked
on this
differently,
Are what Greenville's fees are.
yes,
sometimes I've found if a question gets asked differently, maybe it's understood, so maybe if I'll try to ask here to see. So this annual liquid waste transporter permit,
yep, there's more. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if you flip to the,
Third page.
so what is that permit for, the annual liquid waste transporter?
that's what the permit they would have to get to be able to dump it.
Okay. So what that is, that's if we're gonna have if we're gonna have, say, Leon and myself had a septic pumping company, right? It's kind of like, that's sort of like our contractor's license.
Right.
Michael, is that right?
Sir,
Sort of like a contractor's license,
yes, yes,
what it is.
yes, you have to have that permit.
Okay.
But they also have their certification to the state.
Right, I mean, I get all that, I'm just saying that what you are telling us is, we're gonna add this to our fee schedules. So anybody that wants to come in will have to pay that $150 per year, is that,
Per year.
so everybody wants to dump in our sewer plant. That's just an additional, they'll still have to pay us the dumping fee.
Right.
Yes,
So this is just this is their license to dump in our city.
yes.
Yeah, and then it's 57.5 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, cool,
So. we're
that's
getting close-
awesome, who thought of that?
Greenville.
Greenville.
No, the cities that actually do that, they all have their own.
Right, but who
license,
thought
but
about implementing it for our city?
Shannon.
You're talking about. are you
It
giving
wasn't my idea.
It's Kevin's idea.
No, what
I
about-
didn't even know that. it was in the-
Is it-
Nan's idea.
Well, that's great.
Kevin, what it was, is
I want to say thank you, whoever.
what it was is we wanted to make sure that we followed the steps and procedures the right way.
Right,
The reason that I even knew about it is because I have somebody that is in the business that come to me and said, rumor has it, y'all are fixing to do this, will be closer for us. And he started telling me all this stuff, and I told Shannon, I said, you're gonna have to contact Greenville, because there is the way that it's handled. They're gonna also have to receive a manifest from us,
Yes.
which will prove where their waste went. That has to be proved.
And
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
have to
Part
be-
of that
Right.
$150 a year fee, because we have to provide them the manifest.
Yeah.
So that covers their books.
And we have to keep records of it to submit to the state annually.
Right, and we're getting closer and closer to that, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on Thursday. Because we've got another item on the Thursday agenda, and we're trying to get, we've already approved it, but the price fluctuates day to day. They can't give us more than a 24-hour bid, right? Or a quote, rather, not a bid.
Right, because the price of steel is changing.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about that on Thursday.
that's a regular meeting.
The only,
Yeah,
the
That's
only,
not a workshop,
Well,
right?
No, it's a
It's-
special session.
Right, but it's a council meeting, not a workshop.
Right, yeah.
the only question I had on it was the special
There's big-
event permit application fee and then special event permit operation permit fee.
So basically, they apply, there's an application fee and then the actual permit fee. That's the way, I took that one from Lono. It's something we don't currently have, so basically it would be $100. They apply for it as a $50 application fee, and if approved, their permit's $50. Okay.
And that's
So
for anything,
$100 total.
anything that happens within the city that's a special event kind of thing.
Now, like I said,
Okay.
I went with Lone Oak's fee, so we can adjust that. That was just my, something to go by.
That's a good thing.
So
Where are you at?
Where you at?
Oh, I'm sorry,
It's
I'm
on
on page 3,
Yeah.
right
it's in
above the
blue.
green one that we just talked about.
Okay.
That's the best way to say it.
Ultimately, it's gonna be up to you guys to set that, but yes, it would cover events.
Okay, so one question I had is, of course, we have the farmer's market.
Right.
And are they going to be charged an event fee or an application fee for that standard thing that they do every month?
Well, from our perspective, there would be, but it would again be the council's place to make that determination. That's not really us.
And we could make it for a year or a month or what? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
And then am I correct in saying those permit, the booth fees are already a set ordinance, correct? Is that what she's referring to?
No,
No,
we don't have-
we didn't set those fees. We didn't set the fees for the market on the line.
No, I understand, but we had a running ordinance that had preset them prior to the market on the lake. So has that been compared? And that, but that's not what she's referring to, so that's, that.
No, she's just trying to see if they would be charging a event fee.
Where do the funds go to that are gathered for the market?
You know,
They go to the general fund. So the city park does not have its own entity.
Oh, that, the market on the lake, yeah, okay, I think.
The market on the lake has their own account that it goes into for their operating expenses and everything else, so it does. show the
Separate
general-
from the park.
Separate from the park fund, separate from the general fund. It's another bank account.
Yeah, the market, I thought he was talking in general terms about the rental,
Yeah.
application fees and permit fees.
I don't know, I mean, I guess if I'm understanding correctly, which is kind of like why we're where we're at. We found an issue, right? We seen there was an issue and we had a need in the city.
Correct.
And there was some research done through other cities. That's how we ended up with BB. Because there were some neighboring cities told us about them. So now that's where we're at. We knew whenever we went with BB that we were gonna have some of these issues. We talked about that in the beginning. But we sort of had some of our own little quirks getting it off the ground within our city hall. Now Shannon's doing a great job.
Excellent job.
Right, so now we've got this airplane moving down the runway. And now it's time to get these fees nailed down, so I wanted to make sure I clarified that, you know, it's not like we just didn't know, we knew this was gonna happen, we knew this was happening, we just had to get to the right place to get this fixed. Now, as far as the fees that we're seeing now, I think you did a great job, because you're outside the box, just like how we ended up with BV, and you're looking at other cities going, okay, well, what are other cities around us doing? You know, I mean, let's not try to sit here and be inventors of our own, because people have already invented the wheel. We just need to look at other people's wheels. If there's a rolling faster than ours, let's grab some wheels like that. That's what you're doing.
That's a primary one too. When Frontier came through here, we didn't have permit fees.
Nope.
We charged no permits for no fiber optics. Lone Oak has one. That's where they came from.
And that's a great thing.
And there's a lot of it. So that's one thing that there's a lot of income we should have had that we missed out on.
Totally. And that would have been really good for us, particularly on repairing things around here.
And then on our, like where it says based on valuation or based on square footage. So right now, when we do a new build, it's based on valuation for our city ordinance.
Correct. And that's where this comes in.
Right. So BB does valuation on commercial and things like storage buildings, non-dwelling
Right.
things.
Mhm.
That's based on valuation. So our new build dwellings are based on square footage.
Which is great.
BB's minimum base, you're gonna be charged right out the door, $785.
And that goes. to
Ours
them.
is not.
And that
Ours
goes
is
to,
significantly
that goes to
lower,
them.
which means we're taking in way less than what we're sending out.
okay, so I've got a question for you, Shannon. Okay, so I know that we're paying BB the $785 right out of the gate, you know? And any plus, plus.
Depends
okay.
on the square footage, it goes up.
Right, so are we actually taking in any money with this new rate for the city on these, or is it all going to grow here?
So what I did, and I still don't think it's the one we need to go with, it was just to kind of give you an idea. The spreadsheet I set up where it says suggested, and it's just our valuation and square footage. I added $50 to their base amount and I added 50 cents to their so much for every 1,000. Now, after discussing with other inspectors and stuff, most cities are adding 10 to 20% to the BBB, which would be different than what I did. And which would probably be longer. I haven't seen those numbers because I was working on it.
Be a lot easier.
Right,
So,
yeah, that might be the way we
because
want
right
to go.
now, based on that, if we had a new build that's say 15,000 square feet, we're gonna pay them $785. We're gonna make $50 on that.
Yeah, and we've got administrative costs.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, and there's. I really think we probably need to go with what everyone else is doing with the
Which
other.
would be the 10 to 20%. added
What page are you on?
the numbers.
We're just
That
gonna
would
be-
actually a separate. page.
Yeah, it's separate.
You got it?
I gave you what we currently have. I gave you BBs and then I gave you the, where I added the 50. But again, I learned what other cities were doing in that instance. Yesterday evening.
Yeah, this
It's a single page.
What is Bureau Veritas? Bureau Veritas.
Bureau Veritas is the company we use that approves all of our plans, like if a new business plans to build a house, like someone pointed by. So we send them to them, they make sure everything's legit, it makes all of our requirements for ordinances, they do all the inspections on it, except for certain ones that our Public Works does.
So I think for all intentional purposes, we just take the BV price sheet and do, you know, 10 to 20%, whatever, we need to decide that, and then we can, I mean,
That's the
this is
easiest
pretty
way
much
right
cut
there.
and dry.
They
easy.
didn't on it, cut and dry.
Yeah, and those, I would only do that on the based on valuation and the based on square footage. The other ones, we're actually pretty good, it's like our inspections, BB charges us $100 an inspection. We charge $150.
I don't know that you wouldn't
For
do it
that
all,
permit.
I don't know that you
So
wouldn't
we're
do it all
making-
across the board, though, that just makes your life easy.
Yeah,
Every fee that they have, it's a 20% adder, be done.
Whoever's taking
That
the
way,
fee,
that
the
way,
calculation funds
that
come.
way, all of our stuff that we have in the past, that's the thing that, it's gonna get you caught up. Because you're gonna have to be going back and looking, and was it the revision of the revision of the revision, or was it the revision of the other revision? You see what I'm saying? If we take their price sheet and go, here's their price sheet, and you take a calculator and get 20%, done. You're not having to go look at no other.
Which may
nothing.
lower some of our current permits.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, but that's a service to our citizens.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
There
it
you
may
go.
lower some of it.
There you go, but it's a service
raise
to our
some of
citizens.
it.
That's
We don't want to give it the high that people don't want to come here and build it.
Absolutely.
Now, some of them, you'll see I put NA. Bureau has nothing to do with those, that's all.
Here's the one thing,
Then
all
we
right,
can leave those the very same as what you've got them. But I think Kevin's right, you know, if we decide on the 10 to 20%, we really are coming out very comparable to the other cities, so we're not overcharging
Right.
anyone. And then we're still, you know, hitting something for our city and that can help with the infrastructure. of it.
well, it doesn't make sense to go line by line and adjusting each one of them.
well, it's gonna, here's what's gonna happen, okay? You go line by line, and if we're way over on one,
Mhm.
that one's gonna cause you major heartburn, because somebody's gonna say, you're we're an open book, we're a public entity, all of our stuff can be asked for. So let's not do that, because if somebody says, man, your fence permit, you're making 75%.
You know,
That looks
would be-
bad.
That would be
And our
terrible.
fence permit was pretty
It's, that was just one that I picked out of my head, but I'm just saying, if 90% of our permits are at 20% over the cost, and you've got some that are 50% over the cost, that looks bad.
Yeah.
So let's just make it a cut line and move forward. Makes it simple.
And then if they raise the price of one, you just go through 20%
That's
on
right.
that,
And
and you're
it's-
done.
We're being completely open book, transparent about it, and this is what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Is Lono, do they use DD?
No, they do not.
The only other thing that I'd sort of like to see on here, Shannon, is that I've been doing a lot of investigations in other towns and what they do about hotels. And all the other towns have hotel licenses for their hotels and inns and bed and breakfasts and things like that. I'd like to kind of have a fee added for a hotel license to our things that we're looking at. That's the only other
The
thing.
bed and breakfast thing, there would have to be an ordinance written too, because there's no
I
ordinance.
know we'll probably have to write an ordinance. In fact, I've got one ready to go for next month that I'd like to have put on the
The
agenda.
entire schedule's gonna have to be an ordinance,
Yes,
Yeah, but I mean,
all of it.
but as far as to have a bed and breakfast in town, we have to have an ordinance to support that.
Yeah, and I think that was voted out.
Yeah, there's been discussions in the
Years
past, but, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I know some areas have hospitality taxes.
Mhm.
And I found it interesting today that we don't have a sales tax. The city of West Tawakoni does not charge a sales tax.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't have, we have a hotel tax. That might be what you're thinking of.
No, I looked at both. I didn't look up the hotel tax. I looked up the sales tax. And the sales tax only shows state and county. It didn't show a city tax, sales tax.
We collect sales
We
tax,
do,
yeah.
we do.
And the hotel tax, we don't really have we have a couple of motels here, but
It's an occupancy tax.
Yeah.
it's occupancy tax, but it's really based on the length of stay. If you stay at all the Lake Country Inn or Wagon Wheel, whatever, if you stay in over 30 days, there is no hotel tax. And in collecting that from like the Wagon Wheel, which is a cash cow, that everybody pays cash for their rooms on a daily, monthly, or whatever rate, they're not capturing that. We don't get it. We do. How much do we get for them? Do you know, Annette? Of course, Lake Country just started this month.
We have three that pay.
Anchor in.
And the Wagon Wheel
We do capture some of that
and, Lake Country used to, but they don't anymore because they rent out.
monthly.
You've gone into
Yeah. So anyway, all this will have to be put into an ordinance and what between now and I guess next month, we need to pass this pretty quick. We need to get, we need to get this going.
One other question. Are you gonna use the schedule from the state on the one where you're doing according to let me get you. Freedom of Information Act for copies and things like that. Are you gonna use the state form to determine that rate?
That's not.
Yeah, that's not code for it.
That would be, I guess, an ad.
That's what we go off of. That's,
You're gonna be using this form to do it.
I've filled those out before.
Yeah, they're already using that.
So we're already using this one, or this is the one we're.
I have used it in the past.
Used it in the past, okay.
Yeah.
Are we using it for every time we,
Majority of them are coming through emails.
for email?
Yeah, and a lot of them do, if it's under a certain amount, there's a charge, but you can we can keep track of the amount of time and labor that goes into request for information. And then once they get, I think, 15 hours of labor, then that goes to a $15 an hour rate and a per copy rate per page.
Correct.
We passed an ordinance for that. We have an ordinance in place that supports our times.
Time to be.
Yeah, are we actually doing
That,
If they make it to that.
yes.
Yeah.
That's just was my question, if we're using that form and if we are actually charging.
Okay, anybody else have anything on this? What we need to do is go ahead and,
I think we can cut her loose. I mean,
yeah, we just need to go ahead and we need to set up another meeting. Well, we got a meeting.
20%.
Yeah.
You said there were just, some were doing 10, some were doing 20.
15 to 15.
The next.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, there's tax revenues and there's all this coming in and I mean, I want it to do right by the citizens.
I mean, I can do one at 10%, I can do one at 20%, we can compare them.
I mean, you can do that, but I mean, at the end of the day, what I was gonna say is, I mean, yeah, the city's here, we're a business, but we're not a business like what I work for, what Chris works for, or what Leon works for. So, we're all in the business of maximum profit. That's not what we're here for, and especially with what this is talking about. We're gonna have people that we want to come in here to build in our city. We're gonna have people that want to be happy about remodeling their houses and do it within code. And if we look at this from a standpoint of the maximum revenue portion of it, then
We're not.
excuse my phrase, we're gonna piss people off. And they're just not gonna come get a permit, and they're gonna do what they wanna do, and they're gonna have it out of code. But if we do it and we're considerate in what we're doing, so I mean, in my opinion, we have taxes, we have other things that are funding these departments. It's not like this added cost is what we're gonna depend on funding the
Right,
department that
right.
Shannon works in.
It's just gonna.
My opinion would be we do 10%. That should be fair. That's adding something to the total. And what we need to think about this is each individual person, right? I mean, literally, if you say 10% on a $785 permit, that's $78.50,
Yeah.
right? If you say 20, double that.
Got a
Now you
million
drove
dollars.
that permit to almost $1,000.
Doing through there.
I mean, and I think we need to be considerate. I mean, we need to be considerate of the people that's coming into our city and the people that live here that are gonna pull permits. Because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, people don't pull permits right now. So if we go about this the right way, but if we go about it and the message looks like, I'm just saying it because we mentioned 10, 15, and 20. And that right there is listening to us. And if we go with the high end, we did it as trying to make money. But
Yeah.
if we go with the low end, they understand that we're doing it just as the marginal.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on it,
So why do we gotta charge anything?
because there's a lot more work that goes into the involvement of this to try to capture, there's added
Phone calls.
there's added cost. There is.
Oh, I know, but you just said that we're not using any of this money to fund anything they do.
For her to exist here.
Right.
If we had somebody, if this was a inside inspection company, if they worked here, then we wouldn't charge anything different.
Right. So why don't you just do 5%? Would that cover their,
And you have,
would that cover their cost?
maybe you have a great idea. I was just going off the numbers that have been mentioned.
Well, I know,
So-
and I'm not arguing with you,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we're not in the business to make money.
Well, we are
Well,
to a degree, but
not really, not on this.
not back.
Cover our costs.
That's it. We don't wanna lose money like we've been doing.
And I think that probably the reason why all these people do 10% is because you've got to think about, there's always change somewhere. Something happens. This is sort of black and white, but there could be a little something pop up. And, you know, if it's $10 or something happens, you know, matter of fact, you could have postage change. And there's a lot.
Yeah.
In October.
There's a lot that happen. Paper can go up, all this stuff can happen. So you're just trying to absorb a little bit, because if we get rampant with permits, we could really go upside.
The administrative costs.
Yeah.
And that's.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I wrong in that the reason that we've gotten so far behind and that our infrastructure is lacking is because we don't have the money? It costs money to maintain a city. We neglected it.
Well, that has nothing to do with permits, though. I'm not.
Is that revenue not,
No, water sewer is funded by itself. It is not.
or maybe
taxpayer
that's
funded.
something we need to look at again.
Water sewer can only be used for water sewer.
Yeah, it's not taxpayer funded.
It's not taxpayer fund.
But the roads could come from another little source.
Not from public works.
We're getting off of something that's other. than-
Yeah, that's-
The material comes up.
Yeah. that's what I'm-
Yeah, let's stay focused on the permit.
So all she needs is a number from us, and she can take it.
What do you-
I'm fine with 10.
What do y'all think?
I'm with 10.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, we're not approving this today. What we're just trying to get a
Yes, I mean, when we
baseline,
come
See the
back-
number out.
so that the next meeting, October 11th, we'll have a new schedule set up, and it'll have it include a 10%. And then we need to set, do a notice.
It'll have to be, notice won't be published until after it's passed.
Okay,
Then it goes into effect, you have to have effective date. When it goes into effect, you have to have 2 readings on ordinance.
right. So we'll get that set up for October the 11th. Meeting. Okay, All right, any other questions,
Oh, crap.
comments? It's not but a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, I know, I knew that.
Never
I knew when you said that, I was, I'm going out of town.
So just to be clear, we're taking all the permit fees and making that 10% to what they charge us.
Right.
Yeah, she'll take PV's schedule and just go, and
Okay.
it'll just go 10%.
If there was some talk of leaving some things the same. but
Yeah, so if BB didn't have it, we're gonna go with her recommended.
I got it.
Right. Because there's some things that they don't. do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot
there'll
of
be
things
some,
they don't-
well, like that
Like the fiber optics.
septic or that, whatever y'all call it. The sludge permit, the sludge truck permit, 150. Yeah, BB, that won't be part of BV's,
Right.
but that's awesome stuff. I'm glad y'all came up.
Okay. Any other comments on the permits and fees and stuff? Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
Permits for the non-residents for the boat ramp. Is it on there?
Non-residents what?
Boat ramp usage permits for non-residents.
It's good for us in the radar.
Yeah, we have no way to,
It's on the-
it's a free park, it's a public park, we have no way to capture monies for a boat ramp fee.
You're talking about down at the boat.
Yeah,
The city boat ramp, is that not the city boat ramp?
At the park,
It's the city park, yeah.
And the 2 mile bridge is not ours.
No, she's talking about the city.
The city boat ramp.
we would have no way to, we couldn't capture that.
Well, that'd be a tough one.
Yeah, you'd have to have somebody down there all.
You'd have to have a full staff park ranger.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. So
And plus, that'd be kind of. It's
They
kind of,
don't have to come into the park. If we charge them, they wouldn't go to the park. They just go to the 2 mile.
yeah,
exactly,
We want them to come into the park and use the park.
yeah,
exactly. When you start nickel and diming everybody, they're gonna go away.
yeah.
and we're trying to bring more people.
Exactly.
Yeah, at some point, I think we could, once we get more done, in the park, we can start maybe pushing the rates up a little bit. And that would help that.
Well, you'll have your tent camping and all
Yeah,
those other
there's
things
no-
to add. to
There's
that.
gonna, there'll be some monies coming additional to the park.
All right, so you're good to go, right? Okay. All right, I don't want to excuse you, but if you're, unless you want to hang around, you're more welcome to. Otherwise, you're more welcome to go ahead and go to the house and you have about to eat.
Bye, Felicia. Wait.
All right.
Felicia, by the
Let's
way.
move on to item number 7. Discuss goals and accomplishments. The reason we're doing this, no, I think we've already discussed this, but in the past, when we've gone from council to council, there's never a handoff. In other words, every time new council members come in, we reinvent the wheel. And it's been like that for years, ever since I've been here anyway. And what we wanted to do was discuss these goals and accomplishments, not just that, but what we didn't accomplish as well. Things that we're working on. One of the things is the sludge dumping. We've been working on that, but we're not there yet. We're getting close, but there's one particular item that we need, which we'll discuss Thursday night, that we need to get for our sewer plant before we can start doing this. So that's just one example, but what we need to do is identify what's been accomplished, what we've done as a council, like what the council has accomplished, and then also identify things that we did announce and did make public and we're working on. We need to leave that for the next council coming in. We need to know that the new council coming in needs a starting point instead of reinventing the wheel every time. And I think it's kind of key to it.
It would be also,
Right.
yeah, catch up,
Kind of leaves our
read some
logbook,
information that's there.
kind of leaves our logbook and itinerary that we were all looking at.
Yeah,
Well,
we
not
don't,
only that, there's so many things and, you can have assumptions and all these other things and then walk in and find out, oh, wow, this was going on and
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's right.
Knowledge is power.
one of the, I mean, there's, and this is open for discussion, for identification of things that we as a council have accomplished a great deal of things and we've been unanimous on everything that we've done. There's so many things, For instance, you know, a couple of years ago, and earlier, a lot of people would take off work or leave work during the lunch hour to come pay their water bill. Well, we were always closed on, during the lunch hour. And so now we've got somebody here, from 8 to 4:30 to take, you know, whether it be permits or water payments, drop off an IRS form, whatever, which some of that we can do in the night drop. But I'm just giving an example of something that we changed. Another one was the comp pay, which was way at it was abused, by certain people that were here before. We don't have that problem now, but there were some people that would abuse the comp time, and some of them would, if they left employment here or whatever, they would have, some of them would have a month's worth of comp pay to be taken care of. And you have to pay the comp pay. It's similar to vacation because it's hours they've worked over and they've converted from overtime to comp time. So we're paying the overtime and we're keeping an eyeball on the overtime. Michael's watching his people, and cutting them loose early one day. They work 10 hours, 12 hours one day. Then they leave a few hours early the next day. That's what we've been doing, and it's been pretty successful. And the guys are receptive to it too. I'm just talking about people in the field, but I'm open to the things that we've accomplished and move on from there.
We got rid of a bunch of cell phones at work. I don't know if it was police and public works.
Yeah,
But
it was a bunch.
we relieved ourselves of a bunch of cell phones.
Yeah, and we've got a new rate on those. Didn't we get a better rate from Verizon because they had us listed as a business, didn't they?
Right, instead of government.
Instead of government, it's a huge difference. I don't know what the dollar amount was, but Kim, you know that? You know what rate changed?
Well, the girl that was working with me, we don't know what happened to her.
She's in my,
Are you talking about the Verizon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But now I have a gentleman working. She had put us on government business. He changed to strictly government, so now it's $300
less a month.
and more priority status.
and we're priority status still.
I know,
Finally got Mike's tablet working again.
Thank you.
And that saved us $300 a lot of money.
Yeah.
You sort of added up every month.
I know we got tire vendor for the roads, or I call it public works or roads,
Public
whatever.
works.
We got a tire vendor that we can order direct from the vendor.
360?
No, that's a disposal.
Oh, that's right.
But that's another good one that we did. We got set up with
Tire disposal.
360, I guess it's called 360.
It's called 360.
So we also, I guess that would go under public works and roads, whatever, but 360 tire, we got set up to dispose of tires with them. Then we've got a tire vendor that we can buy tires from direct. They'll actually drop them off right to us. We order them online and it's a great savings. And then we've also got another tire vendor that will sell us tires. They're pretty competitive. Yeah. But it was also, they're another service company, because like the big tractor tires and stuff, you don't just take those off and load them in the back of the truck and go get them fixed. Or you don't want to load the whole machine up and have two guys spend 4 to 6 hours taking a machine to wherever to get it fixed. We'll call them out and they'll come out. So we got another vendor to do that. And they're a lot better vendor and a lot more competitive on pay or rates. So you got Southern Tire Mart, that's the repair company. You got Gateway, that's the company we can buy tires from. And you also got Wingfoot, that the Chiefs buying tires from.
Wingfoot's good.
That
Wingfoot is
Wingfoot
good. Wingfoot is good.
Yeah.
So the
Regardless
chief
of
gets
what
his patrol unit tires for just under half what you and I could buy that same time. And I mean, I'm not gonna say that cost, or not on here, that wouldn't be very right to those vendors, but it. That's a huge savings, something that we're doing different, that I know when I first came on council. Those things weren't being done.
Right.
So those are accomplishments, that I can think of.
Also,
Next time we're finding those, right?
I want to throw something out there real quick if I can. We've also saved a substantial amount of money not contracting out work that we could have done ourselves.
yeah, so I know, last year, very early last year, I think we spent $35,000 on one lift station to replace the pump that we could have spent just 1,000 less.
About 2,000, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was really stupid money we spent.
It was right around the 45,000 mark.
But-
And now that, especially, Kevin's always pushing us to get better and to be able to be self-sufficient. Well, we've become very self-sufficient. We do pretty much everything ourselves within the city.
Right.
So if we have to make a phone call to a vendor, we have to make that phone call. So we're back to repairing our own lift station, doing our own service.
Where we were, like I said, we were paying tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, we were just picking up the phone going, you know what, I don't want to deal with it.
And we've done that with pretty much all of our vendors, including rock and gravel. We'd been using D&D trucking out of Quinlan for years.
Well, there was a few and they were charging us 3 times the amount per load that we're paying right now.
Yeah, so we've saved a lot of money just on vendors.
So the reason we're able to actually do our own work now is because you've got a better crew or more people or what?
So I'm supposed to say it, sometimes you can bring people in who don't have the knowledge to do the work
Yes.
because you parted ways with other people. And then sometimes those other people who have the knowledge can come back in and do some training.
Mhm.
I also think it has to do with having a strong support group, right? So if I have a council that backs me up and says, you know what, you got this, go do it. Well, that gives me the confidence to get the training done, to get these guys ready to go work on any type of situation. So we have gotten to a place where we're no longer blaming others or passing the buck. We deal with it ourselves. We take pride in our work. And are we still at full capacity? No. We've had some struggles on it. I've had this is my 3rd crew. I came into a crew that didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I've had some just pass through. Public works, everybody thinks it's something that just anybody can do. And I promise you, for every 10 people you hire, only one's gonna be able to be in that hole where the little turds float by. So it takes a special kind of person to do what we do.
It's John.
And I'd like to commend Michael on that. It's just my property alone, my personal experience. I have the paperwork and the invoices, and the city paid close to $40,000 for 160 foot of drainage pipe. You might ask Michael what the replacement of that failed within 3 years pipe cost with the city doing it.
It was a fraction of what we paid someone else to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we decided back when that we would subcontract out the work, and we spent a pretty dime, and it failed. And now we've done the work at a fraction of it. And it's not gonna fail.
And it's working. It's working.
Very good.
You
That's
got a
good,
good
Mike.
ring in it.
Yes, it's working. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's hard to. All that time.
Good. Oh, did you have something, Jack? I guess you were moving in. Okay.
One of the things that I'm awfully proud that we've done is cleaning up the budget.
Yes.
So we can actually tell what was spent last year. It's getting put on the right line items. We can tell what we've spent the year in the past to have more of an idea of what needs to be budgeted.
Yes.
It's actual budget instead of just throwing numbers out there.
And can I say this, Councilman, that most of the time, you guys have worked together and y'all have worked through some pretty tough situations. And you made it work. So, it's kind of hard to get that when things are constantly changing.
Yeah, and you can look at the P and L now, either once a month or once a week, like some of us do. And you can tell where the money's going from month to month. If something's a little out of whack, then we just ask questions, and Kim can usually answer those, and not Annette. and see what, what we spent that money on specifically. Go ahead.
I got another one. So, years past, it was, where can we take money from? Where can we pull money away? And what I like about this council is y'all were able to go, okay, wait a minute, this year, you went over this much. Why? What happened? Do we need to plan for that next year? Leon's done that, all of you have done that. So that has helped me. So when I get in a situation where, I need money, it's there. Versus, where am I gonna rob it from? So,
Exactly.
And another big thing, on that same line, we used to, this city used to move money from line item to line item by the month, and you really couldn't keep up with the spending.
Without telling you.
Yeah, you just couldn't read it. You couldn't make sense of it. It changed from month to month. But now we've not moved, we don't move money from one line item to another. We probably did with I think the last one would have been the transaction between vehicles, between police and public works. And that's just a washout. It was a washout. It looks like we moved money, but we have to, because we have to account for it. Because the general fund and the water sewer is two different budgets, so we have to move money, but one washes out the other and it's even, so. It's just a process.
I got one more if you'll allow me, Mayor.
Yeah.
So another thing that was a big benefit for at least Public Works anyways, is we needed to refocus the way we saw things. It was always, this is how we've always done. this. And I think the biggest win that I received and that our department received was quit looking at this is how it's always been. We're a city that's trying to progress. We're trying to change. We're trying to grow. We're trying to do new things. And I can tell you right now that Pro Tem sitting up there always challenged me week after week after week. We always did it this way. What can you do different this time? So we have a lot more wins, I think, that all of us can talk about than could be mentioned in this meeting tonight.
What was that phrase that I don't like hearing?
I'm tired of hearing this is how we've always done.
We revamped the way everything is done in the city, whether it be spending money or it could be a process.
Right.
That we've been doing. And I'll tell you what, and this is something I've noticed that I haven't seen in almost 9 years. Right now, the morale between the city hall, police and public works is at an all-time high. It's we've never had the morale that we've got here now. And you can pick a person, talk to them individually, and I think every one of them would tell you the same thing. Every employee we've got would say the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard for us to sit here and think about the accomplishments for all of us to even try to start listing them. I mean, you've got the playground in the park.
Yeah.
We've done the underlay.
Yeah.
We put the fence up. There's the parking lot in the park that we're not 100% with it.
The EDC.
We're
Yeah.
finally,
At the city.
No, the EDC would be a parking lot.
well, I mean, but the public works had to spend.
Public
hours.
Works paid for the timing. Yes, ma'am.
The
I'm
public
not
works had to
gonna go
pay-
there.
the public works had to spend hours saying that it's an accomplishment for the city. is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the EDC is, all of us are. I mean, it's us, it's not any one group, without one, we won't have.
To separate one from another, it doesn't create the unit
No.
that is the
So
strong.
we've got, let's see, the parking lot, the playground, I'm trying to think. of Something that's.
Well,
The road.
yeah.
It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was, but well, it's still worth noting.
I don't think that was with our council. I
No,
mean, we're trying to talk about what we and the council accomplished. They extended the fence at the water plant too, that gave more parking for materials and equipment. I'm just trying
If
to.
nothing else, we've got a police force again.
Yeah, I mean,
We've done since this council.
Yeah.
We've got a police force. I mean, there was one time, there was one point when we were all on council that we had no police.
Yeah.
We had county, I called the sheriff, and we got them to cover for us.
You know, we have a police force, and that's so competitive right now.
The rates of how much they're paid.
Well, no, it's not that, it's what they're allowed to do. This off-duty stuff is free. Crazy, ridiculous. It's like $75 an hour.
Yeah.
These guys make $75 an hour and they work 12-hour shifts, man.
Watch TV.
Yeah, they sit there and play on their phone or watch Netflix for $75 an hour. And hey, I kudos to these guys for being able to do it. I mean, but it makes it tough for these departments to be able to hire police officers. Anyways, got off track. We're making some headway. The bathrooms at the park have been such a pain, but we finally found a plumber that will do it the way that we wanted it done, rather than spending all this money on these $100 sensors. We're having to wait on parts, but hey, I know that all too well with the business that I'm in. We're always waiting on parts for my business.
I'm
And
just glad to hear we're away from the sensors part.
Yeah.
That every year expenditure.
we made some headway with the water plant, sewer plant. You know, I just kind of made some different, you know, I did park, police, roads, water, sewer, expenses. I mean, that's kind of what I was trying to do, just for general purposes, think of what we've accomplished.
Well, for me, and to be honest with you, you know how busy I've been. I haven't had time. I was gonna print something.
No, I was just trying to, no, and that's all I'm saying. We're just talking it through, you know, just kind of to kind of give an idea. We did add two vendors to buy supplies from, water sewer supplies.
Yes,
We added two more vendors too.
well, and we were
To
only
be-
focused on buying from the same one.
Yeah, to be competitive with that, we added two vendors.
So there are any vendors.
Well, we got 5 actually now, instead of just going with the original.
Well, no, but we added two to our
What we were already,
Rolodex, right? We added two this year is what I'm saying. Did we add 4? I knew we added, when,
No, we didn't, we weren't using, we were only using Ferguson.
right, but I'm saying.
Now we
added-
added Absco, Wind
Right.
Water.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We add them to our,
yeah,
like,
ASCO built a new facility
Right
right
there
there
on
on
Route 4, which is
road.
convenient for us.
Yeah, it wasn't in Garland, wasn't it?
Well, they still are.
Oh,
and I'll be honest with you, that was kind of, the mayor, I think, gosh, I don't know, a year ago, he tasked all of us and gave us some tasks to do, and he told me, he said, I want you to work with Public Works. So I did that, and sometimes I've been a pest to Mike, you know, I know I have.
we both have.
I'm not gonna apologize for it. But at the end of the day, you know, I try to take some of the principles that I've learned along the way in business. And one thing I can tell you is being resourceful is one thing that will make you win a ballgame. And that's what I pushed to Mike. That's why I pushed more vendors, you know, and we get kind of comfortable, right? These same people, and it's okay to use that same thing, but check them, you know. I'm all right, and that's what I told Mike. I said, it's okay to use that same vendor, but then he's found out that they've been beneficial. I mean, credit.
Checks and balances.
You
What
have-
I learned was, is if you stay with the same person, they're gonna say, oh, well, they always go with me.
Yeah, they had a bad leak. They had a bad leak on a Friday night, and they had the parts here in the city to fix it, but you know, we don't keep 10 of everything. And they were in the hole, they were tightening this thing up, and this was
That was a long night.
8-inch
Rabbit
main?
hole, yeah.
Yeah,
it was an 8-inch main.
what is that long ago?
And this vendor that we just put online, we have not really bought much of anything from them. They went unlocked their store, got the part, and brought it to them.
And now it turns out.
So that was
our most
freaking
cost-effective vendor.
Getting them on our vendor list, that was pretty exciting.
That wasn't.
It was right down the road from my house. I drove down there. Mike's like, yeah, the guy's coming to. What do you need to call? Oh, he said he was going to get it, bring it out. Dude showed up in his wife's car. I'm like, that was
That
pretty.
became your new best vendor.
So that was pretty cool. So that's an accomplishment.
And that wasn't an accident either.
Oh, I mean, that was an accomplishment. We did make some headway with, we made some headway with our roads, nothing like what we want. I mean, we'll never,
Well, to me, I'm trying to see the glass half full situation.
yeah,
You know, I got out there and I tried to make a huge dent And what I felt were the worst parts
We had
of the
a
road,
lot of
but
equipment failure.
now that we're going down this different path, the impact that, you know, we're gonna have now
Yeah.
on roads.
Yeah.
No one in the future will be able to take credit for that, 'cause that's this council right here.
You know what,
The roads
that-
are fixing to be worked
That's a
really
big
well.
thing.
That could be on our accomplishments.
It
We,
can
we
be.
made adjustments in our budget to really support, our roads and road infrastructure for this next year. So that's definitely, we as a council did that.
That's what I'm
We
saying,
made
down
a
the road, no one's can lay claim to that, this council.
We got a whole year. We just made a change that we're gonna have a whole year next year to
Mhm.
bring that to
And
fruition.
everyone in town is gonna see a huge
I believe so.
change in the
Yeah,
road.
probably be, late spring, early summer, yeah.
I believe so.
I would like to lay out something just quickly, briefly. And all of you guys sit up here and you serve this city. Okay? You serve this city as a team. You are not I, you are not me.
That's right.
It is not about you. It is about a joint effort. And every time I hear someone say, I did this, I did this, I did this, well, you know what? You wouldn't have done anything if you hadn't had for the citizens. So you single-handedly are not doing anything. You are doing it as a group. And until you rein in your egos and bring it to fruition with yourself and come one to you and make sure that you do right by the citizens, you all are failing.
I don't think anyone is taking.
I don't think you had a opportunity to be able to speak while I just finished.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
I just was going to say that I don't think we've heard
You did
anyone
too.
take on, that it's them doing anything. Kevin's done a lot, Rand's done a lot, Chris done a lot, all of us have participated in this. I think that, as a council, we've all done our homework before we've gotten here, and I think that in so doing, we've made some wise decisions together.
That is correct, and thank you for that.
So now where we're going. Yes, I don't know. I mean, this is one of many, right? I guess.
Yeah,
So
the really
workshops, I mean, they don't have to end the first workshop.
no, but we're talking about the new road, plan that we've got. That's really something that we haven't gotten there yet. We put it in place, but we're not there yet. So we haven't. We
Yeah, it's
really
not-
haven't accomplished anything.
It's not like mapped out that I know of.
Yeah.
Michael may have something. And, as far as like what road's gonna attack when or where, I don't know if there's
And I think we're gonna get,
I don't know, there's a priority list. How do you prioritize?
Hey,
Do you do a
Brady.
lottery? I mean, because I'm telling you right now, if you prioritize it, you're gonna get taken to the cross because it wasn't that road.
And you said yesterday you were gonna do it, you didn't do it.
I
Too
know,
many
that's what I'm
later,
saying.
so-
I mean, that,
You have to be careful.
I haven't even, that just came to my mind. I didn't even mention that to Michael. That's kind of a scary thought, right? I mean, because in a year, we're not gonna hit every road in the city. Not in a great impacted way. There's gonna be some that are gonna like improve massively, and there's gonna be some that just get repaired during the year. That's a
and
reality.
I think Grady has mentioned we still need road base on some of these
Yeah.
roads. We were gonna oil sand some roads. And he kind of stopped us in our place and said, no, this needs more road base. We gotta build up the road first before we start putting oil sand down.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be a great help, and I expect him and either Michael or somebody to go along with Grady and let's see what he prioritizes. And then we can lay it out.
And I think that's kind of what Brady and Michael talked about doing. But I haven't heard any of that yet now. I know he's been in the city the last couple of days or today for sure.
Grady.
But I think she had something too.
Go ahead, Ms. Turner.
I know Mike spends a lot of time, fixing brakes,
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what-
repairing brakes.
Oh, okay.
It seems,
Yeah.
in my brief time and observation is, it seems to take up a majority of his time.
That's a big.
And
part of
just
public
to-
works job.
If he could just have the authority every time he's got a break instead of a patch, set a section. And set the section in gravel. So the next time they got a break, They don't, it's not gonna be the new section, right? And they're gonna know when they're near, because it's gonna be set in gravel. If it's just that much, one section at a time,
And we're not
instead of a
experiencing,
patch.
we're not experiencing anything that every other city doesn't. It's just that it's more prevalent and you see it more than a big city. These big cities, they deal with water breaks as much or more than we do. But the 2 times of the year that we have to worry about breaks are in the winter, of course, but more so in the summer. Because the drier it gets, the more the ground shifts and it breaks pipes, and it's just the beast, it's the nature of the beast. That we're always doing that. And unfortunately, we'll be doing it for a lot longer unless we can find some grants to replace that, but it's gonna take, you take one neighborhood alone, it costs you millions of dollars to replace pipe in one neighborhood. And that's only one neighborhood, but we'll always have water breaks and sewer line breaks, but it's how, they did one the other day, last week or something. I think it took them 36 minutes or something. This is a 10-inch main out here on 276. They once they got there, started the equipment, it was 36 minutes, they had it finished. Now, they didn't cover the hole in 36 minutes, but they had the leak patched. And they were done. All they had to do was backfill it and they were gone. And that's one of the fastest times we've ever had. Some of these breaks take hours. And that's where you see the boil notice. There's a limit, there's a time, I think it's 2 or 4 hours, something like that. If it's anything under that, then the boil notice is not needed. But we're going that extra step and saying, let's go ahead and issue the boil notice. Although we fixed it within the state guidelines, we're going ahead and issuing the boil notice just to be on the safe side. That way that there's no issues or anything like that. What we're dealing with, another thing that we haven't brought on yet, we're still working on it, is the city website. And we should be getting, that's a huge one, and that's a way that we're gonna be able to disperse information to everybody. Our website now is the most archaic, old, ancient website. I've never seen anything like it. You can't find anything on that page. And you have to know to use that search bar to find something. For instance, the property tax rate. You can search and search and search, you won't find it. But if you put property tax in the search bar, it brings it right up.
Also remember the website when we first started talking, or I guess we made the website decision about the same time we went on with BB.
We did it right after
Somewhere
we did
relevant.
our first budget that I was on, our 2021.
Somewhat relevant. The only reason why I said that was to say this is we got with BB, and then once we learned more about, I think we made a change to the website, actually, that's what it was. When we found out the other website, we still were not gonna be able to make the changes.
That's the existing one.
No, the one we were gonna go with.
Oh.
We changed in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We were in the fourth quarter and we changed to the one we're
It
fixing
wasn't
now.
wasn't till like February or so when we.
When I say fourth quarter, I'm speaking of like football, not fourth quarter of the year. But when we learned that we were gonna have a website that we could actually plug and unplug on, rather than be restrained to a website administrator, then that's when we started talking more about our code, all of our ordinances and stuff, and codifying those. And remember, Shannon's been working with BV and them. That's kind of like I'm kind of letting some cats out the bag, I guess, but as far as, because there's nothing really done a whole lot yet, but I know Shannon's having some talk with BV because that's an area of their expertise,
Right.
was to try to help either they or get us in line with the right people to codify all of our ordinances, adopt maybe the new ordinances and get it all in electronic form where it can be on our website and searchable. So that's another thing that's sort of a to-do.
Right.
That ball is in the air. It's just, it's not near the go.
I think that should be just about finished, but we were,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
we were kind of distracted because, we had the audit for one
Yeah.
thing, and then we had the budget workshops, which we kind of put it on the back burner, and I don't know where we're at with it.
That Kim and I are learning now. We've had one.
Yeah,
class.
they've been training.
We've had one class. We've got to have several trainings. before we can.
Roll it out.
You know, get it to where we can post. And, first thing I noticed when we, there were some pictures on there that we need to totally take off.
Yeah.
You know, because they're really.
Somebody else's.
There are other committees that nobody's on that committee anymore. You know, so there's things that now that we can see what they have out there. So our training the other day was like, huh? We gotta do that?
Is
Okay,
it that much?
no, it was kind of scary because they were telling us, you put it out there and it can go somewhere else. Because when you post it, just the way you post things.
And it has to be a certain parameter and
Yeah.
drop over
So
and
we've got several
cloud or
classes,
whatever.
and as we do that, we can ask questions, okay? Look and see what I did, because it's not live, you know, that way they can see, tell us, no, that's, or I think it's going to be pretty self-explanatory, but once they scared us with what they were saying, you don't want to post this out there and it, you know, it posts in the wrong place. So there's just some issues that we need to.
And that's, I think we're saving quite a bit of money over what we were paying to manage the current.
It'll be a lot easier to.
And yeah.
Well, if, to me, it will be like on a Friday or on a Thursday when we want to get an agenda out. And so many times our website was not available. And well, I know one particular time he was in the hospital,
Yeah,
so there was no way that anything could get posted.
and we didn't know it.
Mm-mm.
So it'll be
So
really
we'll
good.
have, you know, several of us here that post agendas to make sure our meetings are at least posted in a timely manner.
And that's to come. We'll probably see that in the next month or two, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Something like that. Will we be able to transfer like all the agendas and minutes?
But
Is that a,
now, as they have it now, what we've had probably for the last, let me see, okay, we're in, if this can go September and October, Kim and I will be able to test to post that, to catch that up to date, because it's up to date up to then. But now the minutes that have not been posted, that, I think on P and Z, there's a couple of minutes that's outstanding, so if those come into it, then we'll have to post them in that place. So there will be some catching up on some stuff that's not posted, but we don't have the information to post.
right. All right, well, like I say, it was we've kind of been sidelined because of the budget workshops and getting the audit done and all that. Well, I think we're also preparing for the next audit, which should be happening pretty soon, right?
That is already, starting to, Lewis has sent us, where we start uploading stuff. And then the other thing will come in and clean up the books for that.
So do we think we need to make like some kind of.
So-
list?
I took things that we say we accomplished that weren't completely done. The sludge dumping, the bathrooms in the park, the roads, the website. So those are split between, we're working on it,
Yeah,
not quite finished.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, as a group, do we need to, we
So-
wanna start a hard list somewhere of. I don't know necessarily, I mean, I don't, y'all, this is my opinion, everybody needs to give their own, but, I mean, as far as what we've accomplished, I think it was just good for us to be able to talk about it, let it hit the airwaves, but. I mean, does it matter for us to list those and keep track of those? I don't think it matters, right? We need to know what the plan of
That's right.
attack is.
That's
so.
why I gave those 4, because those are still under the plan for attack.
Right.
Because they're not completed.
so you can kind of see where, what the intent of this was, is to lay the roadmap out for the next council coming in for the coming year and years to come.
So let them know what we were on.
Yeah, because we don't want our main event to start all over again, and that's confusing. It really confuses Annette and Kim. Of course, Annette's been through so many councils. I bet her head's spinning, every year that we change over, this everything changes. And we don't want that. We want to keep our eye on the prize.
So couple of items that I had written down, things that we've talked about over the years that we really haven't been able to move on, or whatever the case may be. We brought in and redid the contract for the trash company, and we really gung ho on working on getting a couple of houses torn down. Still haven't really got anything going there.
There's.
No, it's going.
There's stuff going.
It's a
She
long
just-
process.
She just brought it up in our last meeting, one of them.
Yeah.
She's working on to get the paperwork in order that we need.
Yeah, so that's just still there to be accomplished. Yeah.
I'd like to see us work on.
So do we call that utilize our two house demolition or whatever a year?
Whatever.
And I think we have more than that, because he told us the last time he came out that he had some still out there that we could use, so we want to try to get to where we're
I
doing.
don't know if
the
they'll
2
let us
hours.
sandbag it. I don't know.
Yeah,
And he was willing to, but we probably waited too long.
Yeah.
He was willing to allow a little bit of sandbagging, but
You know, we went a year without doing one, so we
And-
really need to.
And it's taken us this long to get Shannon up and running in place, and I think we're there now. She's got a good handle on what's going on, so she's moving forward with it now, but again, I used to do that right out of high school, do a real estate business, and it's a long process.
If we could get 2 a year, I think we would be doing really good for a goal.
Well, that's definitely should be our goal, because it's
Yeah.
very.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I can promise you that goal is very common in public, or in
The first one is completed.
in code.
The biggest one first.
Code has,
The biggest one for.
code has that common goal, but I can tell you right now, council might want to put their seatbelt on, because code might not stop at the free ones.
And that's
What are
okay.
you talking about?
but we signed up for the ride, tear it down.
I'm telling you, this city over here, everything I've been seeing, I've been paying attention to what's going on as well. And I've been asking questions every time I've seen her sometimes up here at City Hall. And some of the things I'm hearing is, we might be being asked for some funds to tear down houses.
Yeah.
At one
Yeah,
point.
okay.
I'm not saying this is happening tomorrow. What I'm telling you is, if none of y'all paid real good attention to the mail out, or what do you call the postage that this lady used up this
I
year.
know.
And that didn't tell you everything you need to know, then you might want to go back to arithmetic class, because
Right, that was huge.
I'm telling you right now, what she used in postage tells me that there's a lot of people with stuff in their hands going, oh crap, what am I gonna do with this? And hey, I mean, I was one of them. I got letters for 2 pieces of property that are in the city, that not the ones where I live, but 2 other pieces of property. So I'm gonna tell you what, she's doing her job.
Yeah.
And we better put our seatbelts on, because this is gonna be a department that all these other departments might wanna shape up, because one's gonna shine brighter than the other one.
No, I don't think so.
Anyway,
I don't-
I like friendly competition, so people can feel I was trying to create
Quite
something.
frankly, I would love to see some of these going down,
Well-
if we do more than 2 a year. Because, in talking to them over in Quinlan, they have really done a lot over there. If you go through the neighbors of Hoods over there, there's been a lot of change. They're actually building some houses over there through the city. Now, we don't have that kind of budget. We don't have Walmart. I know that, but
All the other places.
in all the other places they've got.
Sure.
But it would be really nice to just make our city look better. So much nicer. We would get in so much more if we looked better as people come into our town.
So I want to throw a big one out there. I think we as a city need to figure out how to start conversations back up with TXU. Or with whoever it is, Osmos, I don't know who it is, but
Oh, you're doing left one.
no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's already, that's already been done.
Well, then why, how's it being
So
done?
the plan's already been drawn up to go down and turn around and go back. I've seen the plans just recently.
Where did you see that? And how come we're just gonna hear about it?
But they just had to make their way over here. Their plans are already come all the way down.
Maybe there's somewhere if you don't-
This before, and Mayor over me, so. Yeah.
So it'd be nice for that.
I'm sure they'll be busy before long.
Well, I mean, that'd be nice for the city of West Tawakoni, like Annette or somebody to know if there's those conversations going on, that there's got people in what I'm saying in the city. But, you know, public works director, I mean,
And I'm sure they'll bring it in.
You know, when they get the plan.
so I think,
You don't have to
anyway,
talk to
I
her
think on our
public
list, we need to have, on our list of to-dos is to either rub shoulders, strike up conversations, reach out to, I don't even know, do you know who it is, Michael, the company?
For what?
Does he, who's the name of it? Chris, do you know?
What, for what?
Atmos?
Atmos?
Yeah, they sent me a letter about
So
almost a year
I think
ago
it'd be a
now.
good idea to try to, for us as a city to reach out to Atmos and say, hey, we would like to at least have highway gas
Yeah,
in
well,
our city. It
Well, they're
would,
not gonna go to.
no, I know that.
no, but
if
the
we have-
conversation that I had,
if we
is
have
they
the
don't,
highways, we have a restaurant
right,
come in, or
Well,
you have a
that's-
hotel come.
that's the deal with the people we're talking to that show interest in the city is, do we have gas? And I've had to make concessions or try to suggest, hey, go to this place or this place to get one of those big tanks for that. essentially.
But that's the only reason why I wanted to bring it up. It's just one of those things in my mind. Not as a city, not to sit here and wait on somebody to come have a conversation with us, for us to strike up the conversation.
Right.
So
So we might ought to get this permit.
Yeah,
you know what, if they want to come, if they want to bring natural gas in our town, I promise you. I bet this council would consider waiving that permit fee.
Probably.
Probably.
I'm just saying.
They can afford it.
The last thing
Yeah.
I'm worried about- the last thing I think we're all worried about is the permit fee to improve the infrastructure and the bodies in the city. Because if we get natural gas, then there'll be some other stuff coming,
Yes.
you know, as bad as fast food is for you, but if we had a fast food joint here, it would draw. I mean, if it was a different fast food joint than what was there, it would make people come here. And they just want to drive down here. But guess what? It may be the people that were driving down 34 and they're like, man, I really want to go down there to whatever that is. And hey, it's only 2.2 miles or 4.4 miles, whatever. Let me go down there and then they go. I want to move down. Maybe I want to start business down here. I'm just saying. So, that's an improvement to our city. And it would be in the neighborhoods. Maybe not in some of our lifetimes, but it will be in some, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Get it here, get it here, it'll grow.
What else did you have on the list?
Annexation,
Oh, yeah. Big.
Like in general, or
in general, I mean, we started off with the lumber store that wanted it, that we just haven't pursued, you know.
Mhm.
And trying to clean up some of these big chunks that are left over.
have
from
you had any
50 years
conversation?
ago. Not in a long time, no. We were gonna go back and look at what we needed to do. And it's just kind of gone by the wayside.
I mean, are they still interested?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So you've had conversations recently with them about them.
Yeah, it's been a while, but they want to annex and they're not even looking for anything from us.
That's our timer, guys. We agreed we were gonna time this, so. I think that's correct.
Well, just to add real quick to what he was saying, y'all sent me or sent us to go look at the water sewer capabilities. And we did that, we made an assessment, so. Just throwing that out there.
we just need to get the right, people.
When are we doing the next one of these? Did we say that already?
No,
You haven't scheduled.
Oh, we gotta do that.
we've got a regular meeting at 11. We got a lot on our plate between now.
And we got another meeting Thursday, right?
Yeah, but that's specific.
Want to do the day, the third week in October?
No.
Yeah. And we'll be
I'll be
gone.
gone,
Oh, you will be gone?
I'll be gone the last week of October.
and it'll be gone the last.
Oh, you're going on the 24th? On,
Actually not, the 24th. I am going to 27. I'll be off the 27th through November the 1st.
I'll give you tomorrow on the
Yeah.
time. I'll put them on it. And when are you going? Ken?
Mike's gone November 3rd, 4th, and 7th.
You said what?
Mike's gone November 3rd, 4th, and 7th. I'm gone October 17th, 18th.
Is he here?
What happened?
I missed that.
See,
What?
That was my fault.
my
Yeah,
point
she-
exactly,
Yeah, she was.
my point exactly.
He said, is he here?
See.
October 17th, 18th, 19th. PMC school.
The,
And the judge will be 19th, 21st.
I know.
Michael, you're out when 11/7?
Third, fourth, and seventh.
Oh,
Okay, November 8th would be our regularly scheduled council meeting.
That's
That's
what-
a late.
no. Oh, November, you said.
Yes,
We can't do that.
and I'll make sure.
I'll be on a cruise.
Yeah.
I forget.
we gone one more.
I think I'm leaving the fourth.
All right, we can also burn this. We have, a couple of days to brew on it. We can always come back Thursday and reset this thing Thursday at the end of the meeting Thursday. We can set it then. We don't have to set it right now. But we can, yeah, that's great, but if not, we've got this Thursday.
Like the 4th of October?
This is that's the first weekend.
That's National Night Out for,
Yeah.
That's just next,
Next weekend.
yeah, that's next week. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Oh, really?
October 20th. Anybody got plans?
November the 20th?
October.
I don't think so. I gotta go to Erie, Pennsylvania, somewhere right in there, but we haven't got it locked in.
Actually, I have a conflict that night.
On the 20th.
Fire prevention weeks tonight. Through the 15th.
Well, why don't we steal this couple days and then Thursday, we'll set a date on Thursday. Okay. We've got not a lot of business Thursday. But we got some- we gotta get taken care of. Is there anything else we wanna bring up now, or we wanna move on to number 8? Fair, entertain a motion to adjourn.
thank you.
Kevin Berg, Lee on second, all in favor?
Memory.
It is, we are done. Yeah, that's Thursday.
That's this whole thing.
Glad to see you here.